Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The guys are here, the chat is ready, and the conversation starts now.
What's going on, Falcons fans? Welcome back to another edition of Pound for Pound ATL Live. I'm one of your hosts, J.R. Clark, joined by one of my main man, Toby D. What's going on, Toby? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, despite a loss, I'm still feeling good, man. I still love my team at the end of the day. And, hey, that's about where I am.
Yeah, I mean, that's about all we, really can be at. At this junction of the season, like, it's pretty clear what this team is, what this roster really is. We can dissect it 8 million different ways, and we're going to dissect it in a handful of different ways tonight. But, the truth of the matter is we pretty much know what this team is at this junction. And as I said a few weeks ago, and it seems to be holding true, this team goes the way this offensive line goes. And what I mean by that is, like, you got to give your quarterback time to breathe, right? If you don't give him time to breathe, the chances of him having any kind of success drops dramatically. He's going to make bad plays and bad throws when he's, essentially seeing ghosts. It's kind of like what we were talking about when the season first started. He looks like a 14-year vet seeing ghosts. That's a far different than a rookie seeing ghosts, okay? A 14-year vet seeing ghosts still gives you, a 100-yard performance by Russell Gage. Still gives you, a 5-sack game with no turnovers and no interceptions. But it doesn't always look crisp. It doesn't always – he's going to miss some plays. He's going to almost predetermine in his head where he's going with the ball before it snapped because he almost has to.
Right.
I know there's a play circulating right now on Twitterverse that, shows Kyle Pitts just wide open, nobody guarding him, and Matt Ryan's not even looking his way. Well, he's almost has to I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just thinking I'm trying to put myself in that situation, right? And I know it comes off sounding like I'm trying to defend or whatever. I'll tell y'all this point blank, I'm done defending. The man, he's 14 years into his career. We know what he is. He's a consistent quarterback. He's consistently been in the top 10 throughout his entire career. So if he starts to slip a little bit into the top 15, that's just natural progression of an older quarterback. Like, what he is, right? So if you see a play where he misses a wide open Kyle Pitts or doesn't even look that way, I'm pretty sure if I look through enough tape, I could find similar stuff for every quarterback out there. So if we're going to sit here and cherry pick one play, and I'm bringing this up because of that Kurt Warner tweet that got everybody up in arms. But if you're going to sit here and nitpick a handful of plays and not take into account the entire situation, then I don't care if you're Kurt Warner. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't bode well. It doesn't speak to, not that your level of understanding, because Kurt Warner's probably forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. But to me, it makes it where it really shows that you're just cherry picking. And that's fine for those talking head guys, but that's why we do what we do. We don't cherry pick. We look at the entire situation. We look at the fact that in 11 games, my man's had been hit 92 times. We look at the fact that the last time I checked, and I could pull it up again here in a minute, but the last time I checked, Jalen Mayfield was up to almost 30 blown blocks in his time starting. I know he's a rookie, but all these things add in. We're the ones that also realize that you're running Russell Gage as your number one wide receiver. There ain't many quarterbacks out there that are going to make Russell Gage look like a legitimate number one wide receiver. So the fact that he got 100-plus yards this past game, I actually count as amazing. Because when we drafted Russell Gage, every one of us, almost to a T, almost to a man, said, oh, here's your Eric Weems replacement. Here's your gunner on, here's your gunner on special teams. And to his credit, he's worked himself into the actual wide receiver rotation. So good for him, straight up. Like, I'm not trying to diminish his ability, but he is no number one. So right now you're running with no number one. Your only legitimate weapon receiving-wise is a rookie tight end who everybody, every other team knows that's your only receiving weapon. And he's still on pace to break 1,000 yards for, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like, the only concern is, like, he's only got one touchdown. That's a concern.
That is a concern, and we don't know if that's him or the team unwillingness to scheme him. And I'm gonna talk about that in a minute.
I'm gonna keep ranting if y'all don't mind. So all that being said, then you have, now I'll give him credit. Last 2 weeks, the run game has actually showed up. To a decent amount. 2 games in a row over 100 yards rushing. Maybe finally the coaching staff says, all right, fine. We ain't got no receiving weapons. We can't rely on necessarily force Ryan to throw it that many times. We got to figure this run game out. And the last 2 games, one you can count up and say, oh, well, it was just Jacksonville. Well, this last one was Tampa Bay. They got a real good defensive line. You couldn't run on them the first time y'all played. So, the fact that you were able to, get the run game going, Mike Davis, finally, showed some wiggle in the backfield there and, some shimmy and ripped off a decent run for a 20-plus yard touchdown. The only touchdown of the game, by the way, on the offensive side. But all this factors into this stuff is looking, anemic and pedantic. To break a little bit of tradition, Bradley Burnett tipped us $10, which we very much appreciate.
All right,
says, thanks for always working so hard to put out Falcons content, guys. We try. Would you rather draft a D lineman in the first round or an O lineman in the first round this coming draft? He follows it up and says, basically asking which need would you want to address and if the comparable talents were available on both sides of the ball. Myself, if we're talking 1A, 1B, 1A offense, 1A defense kind of thing, I would rather have a defensive player because I'd much rather have a veteran O-line. Because to me, that's part of the problem that we're having on the O-line is that these young guys are not adjusting quick enough between Mayfield and Dahlman and Hennessy, that left side, and it's causing issues all the way around. Now, you bring me in a solid veteran like left guard or a solid veteran center, then we could talk about, a blue chip offensive lineman. I think I tweeted out Deron Kennard, I believe is his name, from Kentucky. Like, that dude looks like a beast. And he's projected at either a left tackle or a left guard. You bring me Ben Jones, who knows Arthur Smith's system and all this other jazz. You bring me Ben Jones in free agency, then we could talk about, going with another rookie at left guard. A blue chip rookie. I don't want a third round rookie. I want a blue chip, like, first round rookie. You know what I'm saying? If we're going that route. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, y'all ain't gonna like me. Because I'm not going, I already got my guy in my head. I'm not going offensive line and I ain't going defensive line. I know y'all going to say, Toby, you crazy. That's HE double hockey sticks. But I got a wide receiver
It's not,
in
I
mind.
mean,
And that's where I'm going my pick. Because one, I think you will have better success with a skilled position players starting right away and having success right away than you would taking a gamble on an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. Yes, this is going to be arguably probably one of the best defensive drafts we've seen in a long time. Now, 2021 pass, it was, I think, still is one of the best offensive drafts we've seen in a long time. And that still remains to be seen but we've seen already the offensive pieces that have been drafted are having success instantaneously in the NFL this season. And I think that will continue with your guys like Jamar Chases, Jalen Waddles, Kyle Pitts, and we're seeing that success. So I do believe it's going to be a great defensive draft. But I got my eye on a wide receiver because we don't have, I'm not going to name who that wide receiver is yet. I'm going to say that. But we don't have a number one or a number two right now,
we
JR.
We definitely ain't got that.
And yeah, so knowing what we like to do, our philosophy of addressing needs in free agency and BPA. Now, if BPA meets the need and it's an offensive lineman that's there, I see the Falcons drafting between 50. Right now, I see the Falcons between 15 and 20. That's where I see the Falcons at. And I think that's going to be because you're going to have so many other teams that are going to be close around the record that the Falcons are going to probably end up with at the end of the season. So that's going to be a crowded there. And I think that's going to probably push them down a little bit because of that. But, yeah, that's where I got my mind on. I got my mind on the wide receiver. So I know nobody probably don't like that, but that's just where I'm at right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, you know, there's a contingent out there that even says, oh, you've already put too much draft capital in even the O-line. Now, I'm not of that ilk. Like, I don't care where your past draft capital has been. If it ain't working, you know, if the guys you drafted busted out, then, you know, you got to fix it. You know, I tend to view the draft a lot different than a lot of other people. I'm not a BPA or need kind of guy. I want what makes sense for the team, and that changes every year. You know, so I guess you could consider me a needs drafter, but I want what's best for the team. And you know, at the end of the day, if it's, you know, the pass rusher from Purdue sitting there, and you got him versus a wide receiver, at this junction, I'd take the pass rusher from Purdue. Because, as I stated before, and we can get into that as well, 9 times out of 10, and this is one of them hyperbole type stats, there ain't no real stats backing this up. I know I'm generally a stats guy, but this is hyperbole. 9 times out of 10, a dominant defense beats a dominant offense. Okay? So I'd much rather, at this junction, start building a dominant defense and trust that once you start getting a little bit better talent and his system actually rolling, that Arthur Smith can produce an offense. Okay? That's kind of how I'm seeing it. And I will say this, if we don't come out of this draft or free agency with a younger, better running back, I'm going to lose my mind.
That right there, JR, is my grabber for my mind right now. We need a 100-yard rusher. Hey, shout out to Cordero Patterson. Already over 1,000 wide receiving and rushing, 9 touchdowns for both as well. But he only had one 100-yard game, and that was against the Jaguars, okay? And we happened to win that game at 149 yards and had the most explosive run we've seen all year starting in that game. And follow that up coming back in the Tampa Bay game with another explosive 25-plus yard run in this game as well. We hadn't seen that all season, but he didn't have that 100 yards. He only had 78 yards this time. Okay, now, Mike Davis, hey, nice, lovely run. I saw that run, I think, against the Washington football team where he scored off of that run, same similar run in that game as well and was able to get a touchdown off of it. But he's not your 100-yard rusher. We need a 100-yard consistent rusher, Jonathan Taylor, on our team to help Matt Ryan to be able to win football games. And Matt Ryan right now, like you were saying earlier, Matt Ryan is traumatized. Okay. Even if the line does well, Matt Ryan is so traumatized right now that mentally it is in his head that he's either going to get hit or sacked, which is the reason why, to me, his performances have not been as good between like they were weeks 3 through 7. Okay. It just ain't been that good. And when you got an offensive line like that, Dahlman botching snaps. I mean, come on. Hennessy getting frustrated because he wants to get in the game. I don't know if you saw that where he was over there talking on the sideline because he wants to get in the game and they're switching guys in and out. But you can get frustrated all you want, Hennessy. You're not protecting Matt Ryan.
You a turnstile.
Yeah.
You're
basically getting thrown everywhere.
I don't know what the deal is if he's just ain't got the right mindset, if it was the camp process of working at right tackle and then, being reinserted at left guard, whatever it is. Right now, Jalen Mayfield, as Tasman is pointing out in the comments, right now he's working himself towards the practice squad, in my opinion. And so that's what Tasman said, and I completely agree. Like Tasman just said, Arthur Smith needs to start either Josh Andrews or Colby Gossett. I'd rather have a veteran over a rookie any day of the week. Jalen Mayfield is not cutting it. He's getting Matt Ryan killed. Yes.
Now we took Jalen Mayfield in the third round, right? And we traded down with the Broncos, right?
Don't remind me of who we could have gotten.
I know. I'm bringing it up because that is one of my head scratchers. You traded with the team, and you had Javonte Williams sitting right there, and you traded with Denver, and Javonte Williams is over there getting 100-yard games, right? Last time I checked, this is last game, right? They lost.
Look.
But yet you took Jalen Mayfield over Javonte Williams. That's
in
a
the
head
fourth
scratcher.
round, and I ain't got nothing against Ogundeji. Ogundeji was a 4th round pick, right? Because he was a 5th round. 4th round.
He was 5th. Yeah. Dahlman was a 4th round pick.
And Dahlman, you pick him. He ain't ready either to start at center because he couldn't beat out Hennessy. Still can't completely beat out Hennessy. And which really makes me wonder. And you had Ramondre Stevens sitting right there that I basically stood on a table for. And you watched Thursday night what the Patriots did with Mac Jones. How many passes did he attempt? Oh, wait a minute. 3 passes.
Against the Buffalo Bills.
And Ramondre Stevens over here just running people over. Moving an entire pile. So, I mean, it's like, yes, it is dead up. Those were the head scratchers for me. Is if you're maybe now, in a sense, maybe Arthur Smith steps back and goes, okay, shoot, I'm a little bit more reliant on my scheme is a little bit more dependent on a run game than I, initially thought. Or that maybe he thought I don't know what he thought. I don't know what the man's thinking. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I said this before, and I'm gonna be bold and say it again. He got the googly eyes when he came in here to a 55,000-yard passer in Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Okay. He got the googly eyes and thought, you know what? I know I ran the ball with Derrick Henry, but I got a 14-year future Hall of Famer who can throw the ball all over the yard. That's what we're gonna do. So you don't draft a running back because you thinking I'm gonna throw the ball all over the yard. That's how I'm gonna do it. To the point to where JR, you sacrifice being physical when you're at the 1-yard line. Okay, you're at the 1-yard line with a chance to take a 1-point lead over the Tampa Bay Bucs, and instead of you physically, if you had one of them guys like Ramondre Stevenson or Javonte Williams, instead of you being physical, running the ball in to get and punch it in and get that touchdown, you're trying to finesse Tampa Bay with throwing the ball. It ain't working. Okay. And now you have sacrificed a run game with guys you could have drafted that would have had success for you, and you're trying to throw the ball all over the yard. See, now it ain't working. So you already didn't have much of a run game. Now you don't have much of a passing game either.
Your passing game has become anemic. I'm trying to find how many actual rush attempts they had on. Oh, here we go. Rush. Well, see, it's just giving me okay. We had 23 rush attempts on against Tampa. So 23 to Tampa 17. We rushed for 121 yards and 41 pass attempts to 23 rush attempts. That's not that balance that we were looking for. We were hoping for. That was one of the things that Arthur Smith was touted for was the efficiency, the balance that he brought, and the way it worked well with Tannehill and all that other stuff. And I get it. He ain't got the big body receivers. But wouldn't you think at that point, man, maybe he's finally realized it. And because I'm real curious, and if y'all are willing to give me a second and let me look at some stuff real quick, because I'm curious if he's finally realized, because you had 29 rush attempts against Jacksonville, and I'm going to go back a couple games here. Let's see here. Nope, shoot. I hit the wrong button. Don't you hate when you do that? You're over here trying to.
Oh, hey, man. That's it happens, man.
And against, all right, so starting against Dallas, you only had 24 rush attempts. Against the Saints, you had 25. I was trying to see, I was wondering if, like, the rush attempts were, I know a few, I don't want to keep y'all having me just looking at a computer screen, but I know the rush attempts, during that little bit of a up-down streak where we had going on, the rush attempts were down quite a bit. We were throwing the ball everywhere. And that Dallas game, it is when it came to roost. Like, that's when everybody else caught up in the fact that, they ain't got no receivers.
Yep.
So, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I feel like I've been saying this all year. Be interesting to see how the rest of this year turns out. Like because right now it's like what we're seeing is like, all right, what adjustments are y'all gonna make?
They don't have time to make adjustments anymore.
You got to do something.
You just got to play with what you got through the 5 games you had left. And I'm gonna tell you right now, a big audience. Now maybe it ain't as many people, but it is me. Deion Jones does not fit in his defense. I think statistically he's having one of his worst years, and you can see since the season started, you can tell he has not been comfortable. You see it in his eyes that it's still spinning in his head on where to be at on this defense, how to truly defend in this defense. And Gronk has been wearing him out. Okay. He's been getting worn out. Gronk has been taking him to the woodshed. All right. You saw it on Sunday. This man is not fit. And this leaves me, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. It may be time to be thinking about a potential trade move for Deion Jones in the offseason because he doesn't fit in the defense. I don't care. You see it how you want. I'm seeing it how I see it, and I have not seen him get comfortable yet. Other than that fumble he caused in that game against the first time we met up against Carolina. Other than that, I haven't seen the same Deion Jones we're used to seeing, the pick 6 Deion Jones. We just haven't seen.
You're looking at right now, he's got 100 tackles or 101 tackles to Foyer's 135. Tackles for loss, he's doing better there at 7 tackles for loss. But yeah, no, he just seems to be, like you said, just not comfortable.
But you know why him and Foyer have high numbers in tackles? because the front D line can't stop the running game from getting past 5 yards.
Yeah.
So you better have 100 to 135.
Oh yeah, no, that much is for sure. Yeah, this D line ain't stopping nobody. Not right now. I mean, at this point.
Now Anthony Rush is a highlight. I like what he brings.
I really wonder what what Grady Jarrett's thinking about this defense too. Yeah. I wonder what he's feeling about it as well. Because, going into the season, you kept talking about, or not you, but the coaching staff kept talking about, we're going to get him matched up on one-on-ones and all this. He ain't going to. Okay. He still ain't got no real production going on. He still ain't got, you're talking about 40 tackles, 27 solo tackles, 13 assists, 3 tackles for loss, and 10 QB hits.
Okay, stop right there. That's alarming because if nothing else, Grady normally has one of the highest numbers on this team and in the league. He's got tackles for loss, and he's only at 3 tackles for loss right now.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, exactly. So I don't know if he's still. Yeah, right. I don't know if he's still trying to figure it out as far as where he's supposed to be depth wise and all. Because we often spend a lot of times talking about the learning curve and the adjustment on the offensive side of the ball because that's what we've had to deal with as a fan base, changing coordinators and all this other jazz. But this defense is undergoing a complete makeover. B Strong just tipped us $2 and we appreciate that, B. He says, I think our D looked better under Morris/Ulbrich. Well, Morris/Ulbrich coached a 4-3 defense.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Butts is over here talking about, I hate a 3-4 defense. Fred, you only hate it because we ain't got the guys to run it.
Nope.
In that sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ain't got the guys to run it. And especially with Pease, you go back and look at Pease. Pease needs and wants a strong secondary. That's how his strong secondary is how he's able to manufacture pressures up front.
Yep.
That's how he's able to take guys like a Paul Kruger or, some guy you ain't never heard of and make him look competent because he's got the back end of the field locked down.
Yep.
Okay. So right now, the only piece that's worth anything back there is AJ Terrell. And he's showing it. Flat out right now, he is having, there ain't no sophomore slump with him. And he's, to me, I know this part's going to sound crazy because, we still want to look sideways at the defense. But the play of AJ Terrell is showing you what this defense and what Dean Pease is capable of pulling out. And once he gets better talent, once it, once he gets more competent talent back there, you're going to see a vast improvement. You're starting to see better and more consistent play of Richie Grant. You're starting to see, well, I mean, granted, he's dinged up now, but you're starting to, you're there for a little bit. You're seeing, you saw what he did with Isaiah Oliver, who was our doormat for however long he's been here.
Yeah.
And you see what he's doing with Jalen Hawkins. These guys, it's just, Pease runs a complex system, and these guys just need more time to get it. It sucks, but that's the truth of the situation. Right now, he can trust an Eric Harris and Deron Harmon and Fabian Moreau to at least be in position. They may not necessarily make the play like you want them to, but they're there, which is, something, I guess.
Yeah. They're in position.
Now maybe they can just start making a play.
Making a play is another story.
Oh, man.
But bright side, and I know we're about to get ready to end our opening salvo. Isaiah Oliver has earned himself another year of evaluation with the Atlanta Falcons. And I've been one of the hardest critics on him coming into the season, but he's shown me he can play in D&P defense. And I can see him, Hawkins, Grant, and A.J. Terrell. Now you're going to have to get that other guy on the other side of A.J. Terrell. But I can see that being a formidable group next season in 2022.
That much I agree with you on. And that was a longer opening salvo than normal. Normally we like to run that for about 20 minutes. We ran that one about 30. Hey, it's all right.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. We had a lot to get off our chest there.
So, let's do what we do and let's jump into chat. Tasman, Chris Jameson, Bradley Burnett, and Reggie 2K all said, what's up? What's going on, Reggie? Same with Josh Malavy. Man, glad you're here. Fred Butts is in here with us, calling us negative. That's okay. We're glad you're here, Fred. Hey, look, years ago I'd have called myself negative too, so I don't blame you one bit. He says the last 5 games are very winnable, especially with the run game now and Hurst being back. Well, we'll see if Hurst actually does anything because he didn't do anything when he was here, in the lineup before. So let's see if that changes. Now, having another competent receiver will help a lot, Mark Turner says our secondary sucks too. Outside of A.J. Terrell, I'll agree, but I think it's potentially on the rise. Woon Carter's in the building. What's going on, Woon? He says, rise up, pound for pound family. Glad to be here every Wednesday night. And yes, we are in a rebuild. Don't call it a rebuild. No, I'm just kidding. You might as well call it a rebuild because that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's a rebuild.
I don't care what you say.
Speed Falcon for Life says, what's up, guys? What's going on, Speed? Let's see. Millie Mills, P for P. What's up? What's up, Millie? Casey Costa says pass rush. Yes, we need pass rush, like major. Tony Wright says what's popping. He also follows it up with a JR on what you just stated. It's even more reason that after the season, the Falcons trade Calvin Ridley for a second round, maybe to Baltimore, and trade Deion Jones. Look, at this junction, at this point, if these guys aren't in the long-term plans, we need to jettison them and get what we can get. Okay?
Listen, we know what this season is. It's evaluation. Okay? You've seen all you need to see. You got 5 more games to go to keep trying to pull the wool over fans' eyes that you're still in the running. Yeah, you're still in the running. You're not
technically out yet.
Eliminated right now. So,
what's up, Falcons podcast? What's going on, guys? He says, what's up, fellas? I like the Falcons gear you rocking there, Toby. He says, question, should we put Grady on the trade block so we can free up some money? This offseason, yeah, right. Right now, whoever is not in your long-term plans needs to be gone.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. Yes. If these coaches say, I don't need this guy don't fit what I want to do, then they need to be out the building and get whatever you can for them. I don't care if it's a 5th round pick.
Yep, and who's to say they don't want to be gone anyway? You just said Grady Jarrett, what just made my mouth drop to the floor, but I did not know. All Grady Jarrett has had this season, when he's normally been in the tops in the league in TFLs, is 3 tackles for loss through 11 or 12 games. That is that right there. I know Grady's taking 1 for the team, but he's taking a bunch for the team because he's normally up there with 10 to 15.
2017
for loss.
He had 15. 2018 he had 8. 2019 he had 12. 2020 he had 8.
Mm-hmm.
So unless he goes on a tear, this will be one of his lowest productions since his 2 rookie seasons, or his rookie season.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be interested to see how that transpires. And Grady, in some of his comments, hasn't necessarily been like super rah-rah.
He has not sounded motivated at all. And listen, with the way this team is going, and he's basically sacrificing his stats to help this defense, I don't think you're going to be seeing him want to do that again for a second straight year. Something will have to change.
Reggie 2K says we got to give Huntley or Olesen some more carries to help out Cordell Patterson. I mean, Olesen's finally like cracking the roster, but he's not really getting, the runs.
But another reason he ain't getting the run because he's hardly there. That when he earned I don't know what he's going through in his life. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know what he's going through in his life, but it seems like when he gets going, he's absent. And that to me is becoming concerning for this whole Falcons team is all the absences that are happening. I've never seen that since being a Falcons fan. This many players having this many issues going on. Remember before the season started, Tyler Davidson absent. So I don't know. I don't know if these guys truly probably just starting to feel like it's weighing on them mentally with all the losing. That they're no longer interested in being here anymore. And that stuff you're going to have to hone in on, and you're going to have to make some wholesale changes.
Dexter Vallish has a good statement here. And he says, Dion is used to the Quinn defense where he doesn't have to think a lot. And so now you're coming into, a different coaching situation all the way around. And there's going to be some people and players who just don't clash. Or who just don't mesh.
Right.
And it's going to happen. So it'd be really interesting to see how all this, keeps unfolding. Because as far as Deion Jones goes, you're getting the same type of production when he's in there out of Michael Walker. And so, you're not going to have much of a fall off in that aspect, which could make it, easier to move on from him. So let's see.
And Michael Walker prototypically is a better fit in a 3-4 defense than Deion Jones. He
gives you a little bit more versatility in some of the things that they want him to do. So it'd be interesting to see how all this continue. I know I've said that probably about 5 times, but that's all I could think of is like, man, it's just how is all this stuff going to play out, Mark F. Miller says, question, do you guys think the Falcons should draft a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round? Yes. 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th. Yes, I do. Like, yes. I mean, you got Breece Hall out of Iowa State. You got Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M. You got Zach Cabernet out of UCLA. I mean, then if you want to talk about James Cook out of Georgia. So I mean, there's another. This is another good class of running backs.
You pass up on another running back in this draft, I'm gonna have to go up the flower branch and slap somebody.
Me and somebody gonna have to have
a I can't. Yeah, we cannot have that again. Especially after we're watching these running backs having success that you don't pass up on.
Even before he got hurt,
draft.
Michael Carter. Your
exactly.
Williams running mate.
Exactly.
Let's see. Keep on moving. Charles B says, Grady, I think, wants to go somewhere else. It wouldn't surprise me. He knows he's got about one more payday left in his tenure. So he wants to maximize it, and I don't blame him.
And I'm going to tell you right now who I'm calling on the phone in the offseason about Grady Jarrett.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I bet you Sean McDermott would be all over that if they can get Sean McDermott and Frazier.
Take him off.
Well, they would. Leslie Frazier, they would love to have a Grady Jarrett in that defense. It's perfect. That's who I would be call to.
That's
see what you want to do.
Let's see. Tasman says they need to cut Eric Harris, Deron Harmon, Fabian Moreau, Christian Blake, Lamade, Tajay, and Dante Fowler. Well, some of those guys you ain't gonna have to worry about cutting Taz because they on 1-year deals. Eric Harris, Deron Harmon, Fabian Moreau, you may not even re-sign them.
Yeah, that's it.
Christian Blake and Lamade, they got to be up on their rookie contracts. You might bring back Tajay Sharp, maybe. And Dante Fowler pretty much, rode his ticket out of town. I'd be shocked if they brought him back. Let's see. Millie Mills called him Dante Failure. Pretty much. Fred Butt says maybe these players don't like being held accountable. Hey, look, you ever been in a situation and got a new boss and you and your new boss didn't get along? It's as simple as that. They may be butting heads, Who knows?
Listen, we said this in the offseason. It's all right to have the mantra of accountable, but what do you have to balance that out with if you're going to put that type of philosophy in? Wins. Right now, you are not winning. So you look at guys to naturally be like, okay, now you had us running all these laps and doing all of this. When you've had some coaching hiccups yourself, y'all ain't running laps after y'all coaching hiccups on some of them games that y'all botched. But you got us running the football, running around, running laps, and we're 5-7.
I mean, look, this coaching staff is not clean either, in this sense. They've made their share of mistakes. From some of Arthur Smith's, mismanagement. I, as a fan, am willing to overlook it in a sense because all coaches are going to make mistakes, and he's a rookie head coach. He's going to have growing pains just like a player is going to have growing pains. So, that stuff's going to happen. That I'm not overly worried about unless it continues, right? But but right now, you ain't getting. I don't see Arthur Blank pulling the plug on the coach staff after 1 year.
No, now will I say he's probably disappointed?
Sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because he thought with the schedule we had and maybe with some of the pieces that we had, we could possibly win more than the 5 games. Which, if you look at some of the games we lost, we should have won. Washington, being one of them, we should have won that game. And against Carolina, let's be honest, we should have won that game against Carolina. They didn't blow us away.
Nope.
But we couldn't capitalize scoring any points. And the defense, once again, got left hanging out to dry because they held on as long as they could, just like this Tampa Bay game. They held on as long as they could, had a pick 6. Now, I thought the game was about to be over. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought this game was about to be over. 51 seconds left, and Tampa has the ball, and Marlon Davidson drops into coverage perfectly and picks up a pick 6 and takes it in. That just earned him another year with the Atlanta Falcons for evaluation. That alone, okay? That was very athletic, and it shows us what he can do if he's healthy enough to stay on the field. That's the question. But guys like Kendall Sheffield and all them, it's time to give up that dream, Doc. That 2019 class right now, most of them guys, it's time to go ahead and throw it in the can.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's, if you want to look at, where the failures are, and I did a little short video the other day about it. The failures, like right now, lie to me directly at the feet of, Thomas Mitroff and Dan Quinn. That talent evaluation and how they put, that roster together has left it in a situation we're in. Mm-hmm. Like Dimitroff, like nobody knew COVID was coming and all this other jazz, but Dimitroff was doing the kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
Eventually that can has to get paid.
Yeah.
And that's what's transpiring right now. That's what you're looking at.
Well, the drink in the can is flat right now.
It is so flat right now. It is so flat right now. Let's see. Mike O says, sometimes it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks or deal with change. At times it works, but getting hungry young rookies that can train up sponges would be a great asset for us in the future. Exactly. That's what's going to transpire, in my opinion. Canito Henderson, I probably just butchered that name, and I apologize. He says, do y'all think Ridley basically holding out so he can get traded next year like Julio? I mean, he's already seen it been done. He's already seen that's a way to get out of it. I ain't saying that's what he's doing, but it's bad optics when you're standing on the sideline of your former team in the stadium that your team plays in. Okay. I ain't saying the man shouldn't have a good time. I ain't saying he shouldn't be enjoying himself. That's part of getting your mental state right. I get it. But understand, read the room, as they say. Don't go stand on the sideline in the stadium that you play in that you say you can't come play in.
Man.
Look, you're looking for good time or relaxing time, want to have some, go fishing. Go hiking. You got all the money you need, go sit on the beach at Bora Bora. Drinking a Mai Tai with a chick in a bikini next to you. if that's what you need. But standing on the sideline at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, watching your college alma mater beat the home team. Oh, dude, they're saying there's somebody saying that the stream froze. Y'all let me know if it still froze. But anyway, oh, he said I butchered it. Hold on, he says Kenyunte. Kenyunte. Oh man, I am bad at names. But y'all know this. Y'all know I'm bad at names. But anyway, back to Calvin Ridley. Look, if you need time, I get it. I probably get it better than most folks get it. I'll let y'all in on a little bit of my own life history, so to speak. My dad was mentally disabled from the time I was 10 with depression and things of that nature. The things that we now consider to be mental health. Like, I lived with it. I saw the damages of what, like, mental health and not taking care of mental health can do to you. I've dealt with some of those repercussions my whole life. And again, I am not saying that Calvin Ridley shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt, because he should. Straight up and down should.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying, when you are a professional, when you are in the spotlight, understand that you are in a spotlight. Just like a few years back when Cam Newton stormed off at that Super Bowl, after he lost the Super Bowl. Understand where you're at. Understand the situation. Understand, and read the room, so to speak. Like, if you wanted to be there to support your alma mater, great. Put a hoodie on. Don't make it easy to spot you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'd much rather you go do something else. I understand football's been your life. You needed to step away from the game, step away from the game. Some people will probably see my statements as being insensitive. I ain't trying to be insensitive. But understand, as a star wide receiver of a professional football team, your situation's a little different.
Yeah, he's just and are we good? Everything good? Hey,
everybody, nobody else has come back and said anything. That's why I kept rolling.
They listen. I've and just sharing this. I've dealt with mental health issues before in the past, and it's not fun at all. And during that time, I needed family more than ever. To have my family around me. And like I said, I don't know what mentally he's going through, but it doesn't send off a good message to me when you're on the sideline of your former alma mater. And that's the same stadium that you were getting ready to play. Your team is getting ready to play in the next day against Tampa Bay Bucs. And you're on the sideline celebrating a win and hoorahing with your former team and Nick Saban, but why are you not supporting the Falcons? And that, to me, that gives off a sign of, I'm not really interested to be in Atlanta anymore. That to me is what that says. And that's just how I feel right now. Anyone probably will not agree. Many don't agree, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But that doesn't send a great message when you're on the sideline there, when your team is getting, the team you actually play for and get paid by, is getting ready to play the next day in that same stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of where, like, I never really did plan on bringing that back up, but after that, like I said, it's bad optics is what it is, straight up and down. Like you have to understand that, in my opinion, that when you're a professional athlete, you have to conduct yourself different. Like, my perfect example, my wife is a teacher, okay, professional teacher, and there are things that she can't post online. Like, if she does and somebody sees it, she could get in trouble for it. Nowadays, there's things that you yourself can't say online.
Right.
Or so if the wrong person sees it, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you have to be aware of your surroundings. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whether he's BSing, whether he's not BSing. I ain't calling his integrity into play. All I'm saying is that, you know, you have to realize who you are and where you are. And that goes for everybody. You know, that's a piece of free life advice for everybody in this chat right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to constantly be aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you on so many different levels. So, and too many people aren't nowadays. Let's jump back into chat for just a moment. We're going to go back up some. Says, Anonymous says, I don't blame Ridley, to be honest. I don't blame him. I don't want y'all to think I'm trying to jump on. I'm just talking about the situation in general. He says, I don't think he fits well with Smith. I don't think his style of play fits with Smith either. You know, whether one can adjust or the other, whether it's Smith or whether it's Ridley, you know, I don't think it's a good pairing at this moment, you know, so we'll see how that goes. Robbie White says Ridley and Julio Jones been having yacht parties. I don't know about all that, unless there's some Instagram post or something, but I don't know nothing about no yacht parties. And I'm not sitting here claiming he's trying to finesse his way out of Atlanta, whether that happens or not. You know, at this point, I have to believe him at his word, and his word is that he needs to be able to, like, work on his mental state. So that's what I have to believe. You know, I'm just cautioning anybody who's in a situation, realize that, you know, people are watching, and the more high profile you are, the more you have to understand what your situation is.
Right.
Let's see. Anonymous says if he's BSing, then he must have already made a decision that he isn't going to get the payday he wanted when he's a free agent. No one's going to break the bank for that. Maybe that's what it is. You know, maybe he realized that as his season was going, that he probably wasn't going to get that big payday. And maybe he's just, you know, cutting and running. Who knows? Jamal Huggins says we should see what we could get for Dion. That's going to be a topic of discussion as we continue on. I mean, it really is like him.
Yeah,
like
it's becoming a unanimous discussion in the chat.
CK22 says, I worked at a grocery store once and a coworker called in sick. Then they went grocery shopping the same day and looked fine. That's Ridley going to the game on Saturday. Exactly. That is a CK. That is a perfect analogy. You're going to call in sick and then show up to work. That's a good analogy. Like, you didn't know if that guy was actually sick or not, but no better than to go to the grocery store the day you called out. Maybe if you worked at Kroger, maybe that day you go to Publix. That's all I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
That's all I'm trying to say. You might have been sick. He might have been sick. But do yourself a favor. Go to Publix that day. Don't go to Kroger. Anyway. Bradley Burnett says, can Deion Jones garner a first-round pick if we package him with Ridley or a fourth? I mean, yes, but you also got to realize this teams, when y'all are working these packages and all this other stuff, you got to realize that these teams got to be able to take on the salaries and stuff too.
Right.
So that goes in it as well. Woo Wee, hey Woo Wee, what's going on, buddy? He says his play doesn't fit the coach. What the coach wants out of his wide receivers. That's possible. Like I said, it really brings to mind now. It really brings back to mind the clip of Arthur Smith over the offseason when he was talking to Russell Gage.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, "Oh, you physical now. You not finesse. You physical." And that really kind of like that rings in my head quite a bit nowadays with what's going on. Let's see, where are we at? coach. Okay. Anonymous says, I'm not trying to say definitively what his intentions are, just vocalizing a thought. That's all we're doing. Don't none of us know what his intentions are.
Yeah,
We're all just vocalizing. Jaden Saffler. Hey, what's up, Jaden? He says, linebacker Leo Chanel is a beast out of Wisconsin. I'll have to check him out because there's a possibility that we might need a linebacker. Ghost Pepper. What's up, Ghost? He says, to rebuild this team and especially the trenches, the Falcons are going to need a ton of cap space, and I mean tons. When drafting, it takes about 3 years to find out if the guys they drafted can even play. No truer statement there. Because all of us would have welcomely ran Wes Schweitzer out of town.
Right.
And now he is a very stabilizing force on that Washington offensive line.
Go figure.
So, you're right. I'm not ready to throw out Jaden Mayfield altogether. I just think maybe we need to, set him down a little bit before his confidence is completely destroyed.
Right. And
that's kind of my thoughts there. Let's see. Robbie White says Ridley was scared away from the fans when he was dropping all those passes. Our fan base is savage. If you're a professional and you're letting fans bother you, like that's a part you should be able to compartmentalize and move away. To me, because you should have been hearing. I don't know. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If there's anything I have to say to that, just look over to Matt Ryan. You know how many fans have continued to say since Matt Ryan signed on the dotted line with the Falcons and came in with big jerseys about that whole time halfway through Matt Ryan's career, talking about Matt Ryan, he shouldn't be the quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. We're ready for him to go and all of this. And Matt Ryan, guess what? Is still playing behind a line that has not been able to protect him since 2017.
Right.
Do you know that's the last time Matt Ryan had the lowest amount of sacks on him than all the other seasons with 24?
Yep.
That was the last season that he's had only been sacked 24 times. After that, it's been up there high. That's it.
Yeah, I was trying to pull it up.
If he can deal with it.
Yeah, I mean that's again, that's part of it. I hate to say it like that, but that is part of it. That as a professional athlete, when you choose, and just like any kind of celebrity, once you hit a certain status, I'll say this: you shouldn't have to deal with people coming up to you while you're trying to eat dinner,
right?
With your family or whatever.
Yep.
But as far as criticism comes from fans or for whatever, sorry, Doc, that's just what it is. That's what you're just gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last time Matt Ryan had less than 24. You are correct. 24 sacks in 2017. Since then, 42, 48, 41, and we're already at 26. Hey, look, they're on pace to actually have less sacks than last year. If this keeps up.
What? About 3 more
by 39 instead of 41. So that's improvement. Just not a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the part that gets me, right? The part that gets me is you look at his completion percentages. Well, outside of 1 year, which was his second year, he ain't dropped below 60% completion at all. And even during all those times of getting blasted, you're looking at, let's see, what completion percentage? Yep, and 69, 66, 65, and 68. This is all while getting blasted. All while getting absolutely hammered. So, yeah, I would love to see them get it, it can be done. As far as the O-line is concerned, it can be done. The Chiefs went out and remade their O-line in an offseason. Baltimore,
and they're finally
clicking. Went out and remade their O-line in an offseason. So, in a lot of aspects, yes, the cap is a hard cap, but it's also a myth in a sense of depending on how motivated you are, depending on what your motivation is as a front office as to what you do. Like, technically speaking, now granted he whiffed badly, but had he not whiffed badly, we would have had an O-line remade a couple years back with James Carpenter, Jamon Brown, Chris Lindstrom, and Caleb McGarry.
Right.
Had Caleb McGarry panned out, which he's starting to look like he is not panned out, but had Caleb McGarry panned out, your right side would have been solid. Because Chris Lindstrom looks like one of the best right guards in the game right now.
Yeah.
So, had Caleb McGarry been what he was supposed to be, you would have had, you would only been dealing with the center and the left guard instead of all of it that you're dealing with right now. Hold on. Trying to pull up Caleb McGarry, see where he's at currently. Well, hey, man, he's only at 25 blown blocks already. God. 17 blown blocks. Oh, man, that is just...
Hit that retweet for the Pro
Hit that
Bowl.
retweet, brother. Hit that. Now I got to see where Mayfield's at. I got to know where Mayfield's at. Jalen Mayfield. Hit that retweet, man.
He ain't too ashamed to tell you to hit that retweet.
All right, look, before I read Caleb McGarry's blown blocks, I want the chat to guess and the same thing with you, Toby. Yeah,
Jalen Mayfield.
What do you think his I'm talking about just pass blocking. How many blown blocks do you think Jalen Mayfield has had? 30. Okay, 35. Your guess is 35. Toby's guess is 35. I'm going to give the chat a few minutes to throw up what they think Jalen Mayfield's blown. Fred said 60. It ain't that bad, Fred. Ryan's over here saying 100. Hold on, guys. Y'all. Okay. Chris James says 26. Bradley Burnett's also saying 26. Michael Walker and Bubblegum for 40 and 45. Millie says 50. Okay, 34. All right. Here we go. Get your last guesses in because his total, this is just pass blocking. He's had 32 missed blocks in pass blocking.
Wow, I was off by 2.
Grand total of blown blocks, pass and run, is 43 blown blocks. Blocks. He's had 4 false starts and a holding penalty. I mean, this dude is just flailing out there. He's like a toddler out there just flailing around. So,
my goodness.
So it's just gonna be like what? How long do you let that run?
The last 5 games,
right?
Ain't no use to
Sure, there is. You can evaluate Josh Andrews. You can have, I don't know, something.
You're not in win now mode. Josh Andrews might as well just keep sitting on the sideline. And I think that's who Hennessy was talking to.
Oh, yeah?
Was Josh Andrews on the sideline when he was looking frustrated because he kept getting taken out of the game for botching snaps. Drew Dahlman.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We ain't really even talked much about the Panthers game. Let's move. I'm gonna switch our background to the scout mode here. The scout team. Cause, man.
Yeah, we're just gonna transfer everything we've been saying all over there, so it'll be about the same thing.
I mean, all right, so what? The Panthers, they just fired Joe Brady, right?
Yeah, they basically admitted that they are not in
So
contention
Joe Brady,
right
the guy everybody wanted last year, the guy that was the next Sean McVay, has gotten let go because the league is pretty much caught up to whatever his, scheme was, I guess you could say. Because, everybody was like super impressed with his,
what he was able to do with LSU.
Right. So let's see, in this year, They've scored 19, 26, 24, 28. They're off to a pretty good start. Then they went on a major losing streak, of course, till they came and played us. Found winning ways again. Then lost to the Patriots. Hey, join the club there. Won against the Cardinals, but that was a Kyler Murray-less Cardinals.
Right.
Lost to Washington and lost to Miami. They let Miami score 33 points.
Mm-hmm.
And so they on a bye week, and now they come. The thing is, though, like they didn't make that move right at the beginning of the bye, which is interesting to me. And did they name who took over as their OC?
They did, but I don't remember his name. I just know he's in his 40s. This is a guy that's been in the league for a while. He's been, college and in the NFL. I don't remember his name, though. I heard it on the radio, but I don't remember his name.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up with.
But I don't think he's called games in the NFL. But yeah, I definitely cannot remember his name. So
Jeff Nixon.
Y'all have to forgive me for that. That's
Nixon.
it. That's
what do
it.
we know about Jeff Nixon? Jeff Nixon has entered his second season as senior offensive assistant / running backs coach after spending the last 3 seasons on Matt Rule's staff and Baylor as co-offensive coordinator. So apparently this guy is more of what Matt Rule wants as far as offensive coordinator goes.
But yet you didn't hire him.
Right.
Be the first choice.
So I guess I don't know. Yeah,
right
sure.
on, Matt Rule. Yeah,
probably
be out next
more
year.
than likely. He may even be out this year.
Yeah. He might.
Especially with all the college coaching carousels going on right now. Anonymous says Newton got benched in that Miami game, and people wanted Cam Newton. At least we beat Miami with Ryan's game-winning drive. That's gonna be the thing. Is like who you trotting out there? Is Sam Darnold? He's still hurt, ain't he?
Oh, Sam's done for the year.
So it's PJ Walker or
PJ Walker? Yeah. Cam Newton, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a winnable game.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start Cam Newton because Cam Newton has pretty much run over the Falcons when we weren't able to beat them sometimes. He's had great rushing stats against us. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do pull the trigger to bring him, dust them off for the bench, and they just did that for a reset. But Carolina's basically, to me, has admitted that they know where they are. They're not in contention for anything right now. They don't have a quarterback. The defense is regressing. And Matt Rule's trying to save his job, getting rid of Joe Brady. But they're done over there. And it'll be disappointing for us to lose against a team that has basically cashed it in for the year.
Now, that will be like, at this point, I don't see I can't say anything's a win other than maybe Detroit. And that's maybe, even though they just got their first win against Minnesota.
Right. Yeah.
So, I can't sit here and guarantee anything's a win, but you should be able to get the Panthers. Like you should have got them the first time. So you should be able to get them this time. Like straight up and down, right? So you should be able to get the Panthers, which would take you up to 6 wins. Detroit, possibly 7 wins. 8 wins maybe at the Saints game if they're still floundering.
Right.
But right now, that's about it. That's about what I see. That's about...
Yeah, the only thing, man, that scares me about Carolina is despite their regression, that defensive front is still scary, and that linebacker group is scary. Shaq Thompson, that was his first game back against us, and he already comes out with a pick on us. Gilmore, who basically ran Kyle Pitts' route for him, got a pick on us. So that Derrick Brown is starting to come on now. He's kind of like Vita Vea right now for them, and that front is going to be licking their chops to play against this sad offensive line that we're going to be trotting out there on Sunday with our continuous in and out centers.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't look. I said before, like, this coaching staff deserves criticism as much as anything else, as well as a lot of others. Like, this whole, like, switching in and out, centers just don't make no sense. Like, look, if you don't think Hennessy can do it, which obviously he can't, pull him and put Dolman in. I don't see why you wouldn't at this point.
Just leave Dolman for the last 5 games. Yeah, just
see what you got. See what you can do there. You seen what you had in the first, 9 to 10 games with Hennessy. So you might as well. You might as well put in Dolman and see what you got. You might as well put in, Cody Gossett and see what you got. Because, I mean, at this point, why not?
I mean, right now, if they somehow manage to go ahead and lose here, and I hate to say that because Carolina's one of them teams, like I said, they just basically admitted that they're done. Okay, and if you give this team a chance to not only beat you, but they will sweep you for the first time in Matt Ryan's career. I don't remember any time in Matt Ryan's career where he's been swept by the Carolina Panthers
Super Bowl
since he's been there.
Swept by.
Yeah. So if you mess around and let this team not only beat you and sweep you, I no longer want to hear any more about we're still in the run.
No.
Playoff. No, I'm tired.
And look, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. If you let this Carolina team, if you come out flat again on your offense and you can't figure it out when you get Hayden Hurst back, a couple games of running the rock good. If you can't get this going and you come out and don't score no touchdowns or only score one, all you folks in here even Fred Bush just says, if we lose, that's what I was fixing to say. If we lose to Carolina, he says, I won't call y'all negative no more. You won't be able to, man. I'm sorry. Look, I have said it from where ago. We try to be as positive and optimistic as we can be. But sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade. And right now, this team is a badly constructed roster. It is it is not a good team. The vast majority of these guys on so many different levels wouldn't even be starting for any other squad. They wouldn't even be backups. This is like somebody put it out there on Twitter, and I wholeheartedly agree. This is reminding me of the squad that had Paul Warlow and Jopolo Bartu starting in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like I saw that today, and I was like, oh, God. I put that one out of my memory. So, I mean, the fact that we got one more win than we did last year, I think is actually a testament to the coaching job that has been done so far.
And it is. And they probably get 2 more wins.
So, Willie Doc just tipped us $2, which we appreciate, Willie. He says, thanks for the content tonight. We should win on Sunday. We should. We should, but who knows? Willie says, your coverage of our Falcons is not in vain. We appreciate what y'all do, and we appreciate y'all. I know I ain't trying to pat y'all on the back just like y'all ain't trying to pat us on the back. But at times, it's gotten tough. Should we even, the question had been asked more than once, should we even keep doing this? I know y'all have noticed that, Jimmy's had to step away for his own reasons. So, that question was brought up. But we decided, because y'all show up, we're going to do it. And we're going to keep doing it. We're We're going to go through this offseason. We're going to talk about who we should sign. We're going to talk about who we should draft, and I hope y'all all show up for it. Because I'm already starting to – I'm getting a 5-week jump on the college. Because why not at this point?
Why not? Why not? I haven't put my big board together yet, but next 2 weeks I'm going to be starting to get that in shape.
Right? So, y'all watch out on Twitter and on here. You're going to start seeing and hearing a lot more draft talk, that's for sure.
And I will reveal my wide receiver I'm talking about 2 weeks from tonight.
Here it is. That's that promise. 2 weeks from tonight. I like it. Let's see. Dave says the hits are a combination of below average O-line and Matt holding on to the ball too long. We ain't even got into that. You damn right. There have been plenty of times where Matt Ryan, a 14-year vet, should have thrown the ball away. But he didn't. I don't know if it's him in his mind going, I got to make a play. If I hold it for just a little bit longer, maybe somebody will come open.
Might spring open. Yeah.
But no. Straight up and down. Like, you got to throw those balls away. You can't be taking those sacks. You can't be taking those hits. But that's why I say right now, flat out, until this O-line gets better, I don't want a young quarterback in here.
It ain't going to matter. I mean, it's not going to matter if you put a younger quarterback or an older quarterback right now. This offensive line will have anybody traumatized.
And this is where this is a cold, hard business decision and almost sounds cold-hearted. Right now, if I want to ruin anybody's career, I want it to be Matt Ryan, who's on the tail end of his career, not insert young quarterback here who has a 15 to 20-year career ahead of him. We've gotten 15 years or 14 years out of Matt Ryan. We'll get a few more out of him. And I know that sounds cold-hearted. And I know that sounds just calculated. But right now, if I'm going to trot anybody out there behind a bad O-line, go ahead and trot Ryan out. Because at least I won't, like I said, 40-something or 60, almost 70% completion percentage every year for the past 3 years while getting sacked 40 times. You're not going to get that out of a rookie. You're not going to get that. So, as bad as this offensive line is right now, Matt Ryan still gives you the best chance to win.
He does. And if we can ever get the line right or some semblance of the line, you might can do something. But this year, that's just, it's really, I really feel bad for Matt Ryan because he, this is about the most frustrating I've seen Matt Ryan ever since I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan and since Matt Ryan has signed here. And he was a guy I wanted out 2007 when he came from Boston College. I tell you, the game that made me say, Matt Ryan, I want him as my quarterback. When they came back in that winning drive against Virginia Tech, and I remember it just like it was yesterday. And they scored that touchdown to win that game. I said, you know what? That's the guy that needs to be an Atlanta Falcons quarterback. So I've been wanting Matt Ryan since he came into the draft, and we got him. But now he's at a point in his career where you're not building a lineup in front of him, and then you're using one of his years in evaluation mode. 3 of them O-linemen is not cut out to protect Matt Ryan. But you do what you got to do, I guess, with what you can afford. And now that you're seeing that, I hope that you don't see McGarry back protecting Matt Ryan. You do not see Jalen Mayfield. I'm sorry, guys. I know he's one of our rookies we drafted, but he cannot be protecting
and then,
Matt Ryan. And
I was gonna say, I'm not even even if Jalen Mayfield just ends up being a career backup, that's fine. 3rd round picks, that's when you start getting into backup territory. Like, first 2 rounds should be starters. Straight up. 3rd round, you get into fringe starter. Like, that's when it starts to tilt. That's when the meter starts to go the other way. Is in that 3rd round. 4th round, 3rd and 4th round is in fringe starters. Fringe starters, special teams, aces, solid backups. 5th round and on, it is straight up down special teams, shot in the dark, flyers. You know, you take a guy who's had maybe some issues, but you think's got some, you know, great upside, that kind of stuff. That's how you get guys who aren't necessarily like prototypical a la Grady Jarrett in the 5th round. So, but if Mayfield doesn't end up being a starter, fine, whatever. I don't care. And, you know, where I need starters at is the 1st and 2nd round for sure. Now, I want you to get more starters in the 3rd round than you don't. But I'm not going to kill you if a 3rd rounder isn't the next coming of whoever. Insert name here. Bradley Burnett tipped us another $5, which I appreciate that, Bradley. He says, all I can think of after a Sunday game is what are y'all going to talk about? We love this show and what y'all guys do. Well, hey, man, we love doing it. Look, there's plenty of times I think about after a game going, God, what am I going to talk about? Am I going to come on? Am I going to hit start stream and just complain for an hour? I try not to. I try to give y'all some, you know, different things to think about. Oh, shoot. What'd you say, Taz? He says, you hear me, JR? If you don't see me say something or repeat your thing, you just need to put your question back in there. Listen, anyway, put it back up in there and I'll take a look at it. Tony Wright says Matt Ryan is only one of 7 quarterbacks who with over 5,000 pass completions. Yeah, he's not a bad quarterback. And I don't think he's washed up. You know, right now, as I said before, you're between Matt Ryan and a rookie. With the way this roster is constructed, Matt Ryan gives you the best chance to win.
Matt Ryan still has plenty of gas. And the question is, though, is it the gas that's going to work for the Falcons? Because if you're going to continue to put out a makeshift offensive line in front of this guy, then you're wasting whatever gas he has. And that's not fair. Now, I will say that is not fair to a guy of his stature to sit here and utilize him in a way that is not working for his benefit. This guy is really frustrated this year. I'm telling you, this is the most frustrated I've seen Matt Ryan and boisterous I've seen Matt Ryan throughout his whole entire career. He's very frustrated with what's going on right now in front of him. And the sad part about it is they have no answers in really helping him to get out of this traumatized mode that he's in right now. Because even if the line blocks well, he's so traumatized from all the hits mentally and the sacks that he's thinking he's going to get hit a sack and he's not going to have the greatest game that you would want him to have because of it.
It's sad to watch, but like I said earlier, as cold and calculated as it sounds, I'd much rather shorten Ryan's career by a year or two than completely ruin and waste a first-round pick behind this horrible offensive line. Because that's what the Bears are staring at with Justin Fields. As much as everybody loves Justin Fields, you know, if they don't figure that offensive line out, you know, he's not going to amount to much. And, you know, somebody commented earlier about Russell Wilson. It was Bubba Gump. Says Russell Wilson's running for his life every week, and he can't even evade sacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, dude. I mean, like Aaron Rodgers, he's just now starting to get talent back around him, and look at what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
All those years that they didn't invest in wide receivers or run game or nothing like that, and expecting Aaron Rodgers just to pull it out of his keister. Like, you know, you talk about like the tail end of Tom Brady's career up in New England. They went out this year and spent $100-something million to rebuild their entire team. And it's
paying off now.
But when Tom Brady left to go to Tampa, you saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That team was in shambles. So, we want to act like these other, you know, quarterbacks are immune to this stuff, but they're not. Look at Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers last few years. He had no weapons. Yeah. So they couldn't get a run game going. So he's the hell into his career is going to poof off into the dust.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers. Like that team out there in San Diego constantly stayed hurt. Never really had much of an O-line. What'd they do? Nothing. So,
Yeah.
like, we like to dump it all on the feet of one person. It tends to be the one person who makes the most money. But that's what I love about this sport. It is a team sport. And
Yep.
right now, we just ain't got the team, folks. Maybe next year.
Nope.
Like, depending on how aggressive they want to be, what they do with contracts and so on and so forth, trades, drafts, all that stuff, that's what makes the offseason fun. Is you can, in relative short order, remake a team. That's why I always laugh like a team like Jacksonville. Y'all got all the cap space in the world. Like, all of it. And y'all can't field a better team than what y'all got. It don't make no sense to me.
Apparently not.
So,
Apparently not.
a few more, and we're going to ride out of here. Let's see. Toby D says, Toby D, being hit 92 times, that would take a toll on anyone. And it does. And you're looking at it.
It does.
Straight up and down.
Yeah, he traumatized.
Let's see. Tony Wright says Russell Wilson will be a New York Giant next season, and the Giants have 2 top 10 picks. He's already said that the Giants, which is interesting. I think he wants to be in that market. You know, as far as like a bigger market for publicity reasons. Denver, which makes sense because they got a lot of young talent over there, defensive and offensive. And what was the other one? Saints. And that makes sense, too, because you got Sean Payton there. So those are the 3 teams. I think you're looking at the last days of Russell Wilson in Seattle. Mark Turner says Mayfield should go back to right tackle. Give him a shot. That's where he always plays.
He probably will.
Left guard is completely different footwork, arm work, different direction, completely opposite. Let's see, Taz, you said you put it back up there. Taz, I'm sorry, I am not seeing it. All I see, the last 2 comments I got from you is JR, I put it back up there, and then you hear me, JR and Toby. That's the 2 comments I got on my side.
Oh, yeah,
So,
man.
I don't know if you're trying to put up like a video or something that's not coming through on my end. So just, type out whatever it is and I'll read it. Let's see. Yeah, as far as like Mayfield going back to right tackle, I'm down for that. Especially in the offseason, if you give him a whole offseason at being a right tackle. I think just throwing him over there right now probably wouldn't be a great idea.
No, not wise. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I don't want to see Jalen Mayfield as Matt Ryan's right tackle and Matt Ryan's still here next year in 2022. Let Jalen Mayfield properly develop. Okay? He got thrown in the fire. There was no choice in that matter. He got thrown in the fire early. I would say cool him off a bit and just let him properly get himself developed well to be able to be a formidable right tackle. Right now, you need to put all veterans in front of Matt Ryan. I'm talking all veterans. I'm talking 4 years plus veterans in front of Matt Ryan that is competent enough, especially at that center position. You cannot have the guys you got right now at that center position protecting Matt Ryan and calling the line and protections and all that stuff. Yep. You got to have your veteran.
Tasman says, if I see Jalen Mayfield start one more time, I'm going to punch something. You might as well line up and start punching something.
Yeah, you need to start punching because you got 5 more games.
You're going to have to just punch something soft so you don't break your hand, brother. I don't want you ending up on IR either. Millie Mills says, who is the upcoming free agent lineman? One of them is Ben Jones of the Titans. I don't know what he would command, but Ben Jones, and then there was another one who's on a 1-year type deal with Kansas City. I'm trying to remember his name. Let me see if I can pull up.
I have not looked at any of that right now, so I couldn't.
Well, I got the power of the internet at my fingertips. As this is why I put in the new screens, you know what I'm saying, so that I could see what's going on. Let's go with this Spotrac free agent tracker. Our friends over at Spotrac. We're gonna go with offensive line and update. Okay. Brandon Sharif is a free agent. He'd be nice. Nate Solder, Andrew Norwell, down there in the Jags. He could be. Lornette Duvernay Turdif, the doctor guy, formerly of the Chiefs. He's coming up. Same thing with, like I said, Ben Jones. Laken Tomlinson out there in San Francisco. If you want a guard who can run that outside zone. Laken Tomlinson. Mark Lewinsky out of Indy. Let's see. Charles Leno, maybe Morgan Moses. If you're looking for a power guy.
Oh, yeah.
There was one name. Okay, Ethan Polk. No, I don't want anybody from Seattle. No, nobody from Seattle. Straight up. Let's see. Who else is out here? Oh, Will Hernandez. I'd take a look at him on a deal. So, yeah, I mean, Kyle Long, he's a little older guy, but still may give you some quality starts. And, yeah, there's some guys coming up. Michael Schofield, I'd take him in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Austin Blythe. Jason Spring. Oh, wait a minute. He's already on our team. Sorry. I'm being a smart aleck. Orlando Brown Jr. out of KC. He's on a 1-year deal. He's going to want a big payday, though. He's going to want a real big payday. Nobody else is really... Well, you got David Quisenberry of the Giants. Or not Giants, the Titans. And I think he was on a squad when Smith was there. Tasman says we should target Randy Gregory from Dallas. As long as he comes affordable and stays out of trouble. I'll take. He's been playing with a man possessed today. Or this season. All right. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I think that's it. I think that's all I got. We done talked about this thing for an hour and 30 some odd minutes. I didn't think we could do that, Toby, but we did.
Hey, man.
We tend
find
to
a way.
Good Lord willing, we'll be back doing it again.
We had a lot to get off our chest tonight. And still more to change.
Yeah, there's still more.
We'll
be back next, win or lose, we'll be back. And, I'm encouraged by the run game. And let's just see if they can keep it going, right? Because that's another way to keep Matt Ryan upright, is run the daggone ball.
Yeah.
All right, now, Taz says, let's go to 9 o'clock. Taz, my wife would kill me. All right?
Yeah.
So, I'm blocking her from being able to go to bed because I'm in the bedroom. So, I got to get out of here. As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128. Toby?
Toby D.
You want to follow our boy Mike Dove. He is Mike_DUB. And come back on Wednesday. We'll be live again. Always keep an eye on the show for them truck thoughts that I have while I'm driving around the mean streets of Atlanta. And, as always, man, it's just win, folks. That's it.
Just win.